No problem.
today you are a successful businesswoman in your own right. So can you give us some tips on how to continue on our journey, on our path, amidst everything that we go through in life?
Yeah, I mean, I do think that life is for living. And I think, we all have our ups and downs, and things come up in our way where you think, oh, why is it happening to me? And it's human, we're all human at the end of the day. But I think you have to have personally, I always had to have a reason why. And that's my children, whatever I'm doing is for a legacy for them to leave, whatever I can to give them a bit of a foothold on this awful world that that we live in, to sort of give them a little bit of an extra hand, if you like, to get, and they can either come into the business or they can sell it or whatever they wanted to do. But I think you've got to have a reason why, and you've got to have self-belief that you're going to be able to do it, because I think the only way that you fail is when you give up. And I've thought about it, don't get me wrong, when we've had our financial strains, and you know I think when you have one property, you're kind of like you're reliant on whatever other income that you've got. If it's empty or if there's repairs to be done, you've got to put that right. Whereas if you have a handful of properties, you're very unlucky if more than a couple of properties are either empty or have repairs at the same time, but they kind of manage each other. So I think if you get a handful of properties to support themselves, and then if you wanted to start your own business, just have a vision. What is it that you want to achieve, and just go for it, and don't be frightened to ask for help. Reach out to people, because there's loads of free advice and help online, and on YouTube, and people are forever sort of sending emails with free advice. So just soak up the knowledge of what you can, and then something will just click and you'll get ready to move on to the next level, as it were. And then you'll start, whether it's your portfolio, whether it's a business, you'll get onto that level. And it's only when you start feeling comfortable that you're ready for the next level. And again, just start looking about, follow people who've done it, get tips from them, reach out to them, because I've reached out to some people way ahead of me on either the property journey or on the business journey, and they're more than happy to help. So reach out to people, but just never give up. Always have that belief. I mean, I think always have an exit strategy as well. Like, I mean, my exit strategy would be to sell the business or sell the properties, or death, and leave it as a legacy. But I would have that exit strategy, so that that if one strategy, excuse me, doesn't work, you can go to like, if you wanted to try serviced accommodation, because that's where the money tends to be, you could always turn it into a buy to let. If
True.
you found out that it didn't work, always have an exit strategy, or another strategy that you can try if the first one isn't working. And you're always going to have to tweak things, and some things aren't going to work. My
That's
husband
true.
did commercial conversion. He did a couple of jobs, and they didn't go very well, so that left us in a lot of debt. um but then luckily it was property who, when we managed to remortgage, that got us out of that debt as well. So property is very forgiving, but it's not a short-term thing. You've got to be in it for the long term. But it's like the business side as well. It's not going to happen overnight. Now that I've been running 7 years, I've got landlords who come to me, and I've got investors who come to me because they want us to find a property for them. That wouldn't have happened in the first year of trading, because the reputation wasn't there.
Yeah.
You've got to work hard, and it, people sometimes think, oh, it must be easy having your own business. Yes, you can pick your hours, and that was one of the reasons why we did it, so that we can work around the children, so we can go to their school events, etc. but
Mm.
it isn't easy. You know, it's sometimes I used to say to my mum, I'm working from 9 till 5, but that was 9 o'clock in the night when the kids were in bed until 5 o'clock in the morning. You know, it is a lot of hard work. And I think if you're prepared to do that hard work, and you know, then you've just got to ride with it and don't give up, because as I say, the only time you fail is when you give up.
That's true. That's true. So the only time we fail in this life is when we give up. So we just have to
Yeah,
keep pushing on,
keep
keep
pushing on,
trying.
definitely.
Yeah,
Exactly. And
keep
if
trying.
one thing doesn't work, try another. And
Another
don't
one.
be afraid to reach out as well, because it can be a lonely place as well. I think, you know, when you're self-employed, or if you're running your own business, and you kind of, I was, you know, of the mindset initially, oh, I don't want to bother such and such because they're busy. But everybody, you know, join Facebook groups, networking events, and get the support you need. You know, you don't have to spend thousands. I mean, I must admit, I've invested quite heavily in myself for the various masterminds that I'm on, and they're pretty good. Well, they're very good. You know, they do help, and you come out of them and you're buzzing and you feel like you want to rule the world. But it's maintaining that level of enthusiasm, of you know, of wanting to get onto the next level and scale and move up the ladder, if you like. But as I say, just keep on going.